Hello, I'm Papia. And we're going to compute the period and amplitude of a trig function that's given to us. So the function is y equals 3 sine of 2x. And in this problem, we also have the graph of this function. It's right here. And we have to figure out what is the period and amplitude. Now, you can solve this problem two different ways, and I will show you both ways. So first way will be to look at the graph and figure out what is the period and amplitude. Okay, so this is a sine curve, and you know that, and you can see that it repeats itself, right? So if you notice carefully, see the portion of the curve that starts from 0 and goes all the way up to here. What is this point? See, this half of it is pi over 2, so this is another pi over 2, so this will be pi, right? Pi over 2 plus pi over 2. So the curve between 0 and pi, notice that that portion repeats again, and it will repeat again, and the left side too. So you can basically just cut that and then paste it, and you will get this entire curve, right? Now this is called a cycle from 0 to pi, that portion. So what is period? Period of this trigonometric function is just the length of one cycle. That's basically it. So that's the period. So it's the distance on the x-axis between successive cycles. So in this case, just looking at the graph, you can say the period is pi. Okay. Now what is amplitude? Amplitude is defined to be, you take the difference between the max and the min values and then divide by 2. Okay, so clearly from the graph you see the maximum value is 3, minimum is -3. The entire graph lies between those two values, right? So what is this length? 3 plus 3, 6. You divide by 2, you get 3. So from the graph again, you can say amplitude is this distance. Amplitude is 3 right here. So given a graph, you can figure out period and amplitude, right? So you have the answer. But let me tell you, what if you don't have the graph? You just have the expression of the function. Then how can you figure out the period and amplitude? Well, you can always graph it first and then look at the graph, or you can try to use a different method, right? So from the expression, in general, if you have an expression y equals, say, a sine of bx, so as you can see, a is 3 in this case and b is 2, right? Then period is defined to be 2 pi over absolute value of b. So let's see what period will be in this case. So it will be 2 pi divided by absolute value. What is our b? b is 2. But absolute 2 is just positive 2. So it's 2 pi over 2, and that is pi. It matches, right? Look, we got pi to be our period. So it's correct. Okay, what about amplitude? It's very simple. Amplitude is just absolute value of a. What is a? A is 3. So it's absolute 3, and that is equal to 3. And we did get that. Amplitude is 3. So you know now how to compute period and amplitude from the graph of the sine curve or from the expression itself. I hope you understand that. Thank you.